Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to start with new chapter number 14, ecosystem. Okay, so let's start. So first of all, I want to tell you what is ecosystem. Okay, so a biotic community cannot live in isolations, right? It lives in an environment which supplies its material and energy requirement and provides other living conditions. So thus all living organisms and the non-living world are locked in an inseparable relationship. Okay, according to their nature and behavior we have separated. So the biotic community along with the physical environment, that is abiotic factors, from an interaction system that is called ecosystem. Clear? And the term ecosystem was given by British ecologist A.G. Transley. Yes, so the term ecosystem was given by a British ecologist A.G. Transley in the year 1935. Okay, and I want to tell you one other definition that is given by Odom. He have defined the ecosystem as the basic functional unit of ecology which included both the organisms and the non-living environment, each influencing the properties of the other, and each is necessary for the maintenance of life. Okay, so the concept of ecosystem can be illustrated by the factor that holozoic animals cannot synthesize their food and depend upon plants, right, either directly or indirectly. Even plants which are capable of synthesizing of their own food depends upon the abiotic environment, so from which they receive light, water, carbon dioxide, minerals, salts, etc. So from the synthesis of food. Clear? Now we can also define ecosystem as the interrelationship between the living organisms and its non-living, that is abiotic environment. Okay, so in a specific area that is called ecosystem. And ecosystem which are very big, such as forest ecosystem, oceans, etc., right? So these are called as biomes. Now let us talk about the structure and component of an ecosystem. Okay, so the main step involved in the operation of an ecosystems are, that is reception of energy, manufacture of organic food by producers, right, composition of organic material by consumers, or decomposition into inorganic compounds, right, and transformation of these products into suitable compounds from the nutrition to the producers. Clear? Now in the operation of an ecosystem, these steps not only involve the production but also growth and death of the living components. Yes, and also influences the non-living environment. Okay, of the habitat, means whatever they are living in that habitat, it also involve. Okay, so ecosystem consists of two components. So basically it is a biotic component and abiotic component. Okay, so let's see about what is abiotic and biotic components. So you can see here is a chart is given. By this chart we have to study each and everything. Okay, so let's start with biotic components. Okay, so I want to explain you this chart. See, in biotic component there are three categories: producers, consumers, and decomposers. Okay, and we will what is producers? Generally green plants which can make their food, and consumers means they depend on other according to their category, and decomposers means all the bacteria and fungi. See, all these will included. Okay, so abiotic component means the organic component, inorganic component, and climatic components. Okay, so when we will talk about organic component, so that means all the soil, humus, and organic food, this will come under the organic component. Okay, so inorganic component means all the types of minerals like water, and oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, all these will come under the category of inorganic component. Okay, so climate component. What is climatic component? Means the temperature, the light, humidity. Okay, in this way. So we have to study all and each things in detail. Okay, so let's start with biotic component. So what is biotic component? That means all living organisms of an ecosystem together form biotic component of the ecosystem. So there are three types of biotic component. Okay, I already told you, that is producers, consumers, and what's the next? Decomposer. Okay, so producers are also known as autotrophs. Why? Because they can make their own food. Clear? So the organisms which produces food for themselves and also for all living organisms from inorganic raw material like CO2, H2O with the help of solar radiations. So the process is called photosynthesis and organisms are called producers. Clear? Yes, like all the green plants. Okay, now what is consumers? Consumers are also known as heterotrophs. Okay, so these are the heterotrophic organism which obtain their food from producers directly or indirectly. Okay, so they are therefore also called as macro consumers, or we can also say that yes, phagotrophs. Clear? Now this consumers, that means heterotrophs, they are divided into three category. First is first order, secondary order, and tertiary. So let's talk about the primary consumer. Okay, or first order we can also say primary consumer. So what are primary consumers? The organism which use various part of the plant for their food, they are called primary consumer. Okay, for example, yes, the herbivores are the primary consumers in the ecosystem. So for example, like a deer or a rabbit is a primary consumer in the forest, right? And all the protozoans, these are also come under the category of primary consumers. You can see here, my dear students, there is an interrelationship and interaction between various components of an ecosystem. By the help of this table you can easily understood, right? Yes. Now let's talk about secondary consumers. The organism which use primary consumer as their food are called secondary consumer, right? Like cat, dog, wolf, lion, all these will come under the secondary consumer. Now let us talk about the tertiary consumer. Means the organism which use secondary consumers as their food, they are called tertiary. Means they depend on the secondary will depend on primary and tertiary will depend on secondary. In this way they dependent on each other. So tertiary consumers, we having the example of snake, tiger, lion, etc. Okay, means the top consumers. Okay, means the organisms which obtain food from other consumers but are not eaten by the other, they are called that top consumers, like peacock also, lion, tiger, etc. Now, so next we having third point, that is decomposers, or we can say residuers. Okay, so what is decomposers? The organism which decompose the dead organisms and break down the complex compound of dead organism into simple nutrients, that are called, and those are called decomposers. Okay, so the process help in absorption of food by themselves and to release the nutrition in the environment. Okay, so the phenomena is called mineralization. Okay, so decomposers are also called reducers or natural scavengers, as they able to remove or degraded the dead bodies of organisms. Clear? Now I'll tell you the example also, like bacteria, fungi. Yes, these are all will come under the category of decomposers. Okay, so this is about biotic component. Now let's talk about what is abiotic component. Okay, so abiotic component are non-living component of the ecosystem. Okay, so all the abiotic component of ecosystem are divided into three groups. I already told you, that is organic, inorganic, and climatic. Okay, so organic material, that is organic material like protein, lipids, carbohydrate, etc. They provide energy to the ecosystem, and these substances are link of biotic as well as abiotic component of all them, and they produces by living beings. Means who produces the organic matter? All the living being produce. Okay, now Inorganic matter. So inorganic matter like calcium, hydrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, nitrogen, etc., they help to form inorganic substances. Okay, and these material are cycled in the ecosystem through biogeochemical cycle. Okay, you have already know about this name. Okay, biogeochemical cycle. Okay, so under this we read all the inorganic material. Now next is climatic. Now temperature, light, water, humidity, wind, hydrogen ion concentration or pH, right, soil, etc., all the determine the climate of a particular place. Okay, this determine the particular place in our ecosystem, so that is known as climatic region. Clear? Now let's talk about size of ecosystem. What is the size? So the size of an ecosystem is not fixed. It may range from a drop of water to entire ocean or a large forest. The earth itself is an ecosystem, right? It can be divided into smaller and smaller ecosystem. In a drop of water, there may be a large number of bacteria and phytoplanktons living. So, in a definite climatic conditions, these interact with the water, yes, temperature, light. So, in the water drops. So, it is not worthy that whatever may be the size of the ecosystem, there is always interaction between living, that is biotic, and non-living abiotic components. Clear? Yes. So just like when we talk about the boundary of an ecosystem, okay, what may be the boundary of an ecosystem? So let's see, there is not a definite boundary. Okay, so it can be not able to separate absolutely from another ecosystem. In some way or other, one ecosystem is always related with other, right? And this can be understood by the example of pond ecosystem. Here fishes are eaten by birds, but many birds of another ecosystem like forest and grassland also eat the fishes of the pond. So likewise, migrately smaller animal of the pond and forest and grass ecosystem. So therefore a boundary line can never be scratched around the ecosystem. Clear? Yes. Now, I want to tell you in the next patterns or types of ecosystem. Means which type of ecosystem we having, the pattern. So, as you all know, the world itself is a biosphere, right? So, which consists of many small ecosystem, large natural ecosystem, that is called biome. Yes, so ecosystem may be artificially categorized as follows. So first is natural ecosystem, and secondly we having man-made or we can say artificial ecosystem. Clear? Yes. So I'll tell you the pattern of the type of ecosystem. See here. Yes, in this table, this is called natural ecosystem and man-made or artificial ecosystem. So in natural ecosystem, we will study about terrestrial and aquatic. Okay, so in terrestrial we will studied about forest ecosystem, grassland, desert and mountain ecosystem. Okay, so whenever we are talking about aquatic, it is you all know that is aquatic, the world is related with water. So we will categorize the aquatic into two parts, that is freshwater and marine ecosystem. Okay. Yes. So in freshwater there are different types of places which is known as a freshwater, and in marine ecosystem there is a sea, ocean, they are come under the category of marine ecosystem. Okay, so this is all about natural ecosystem. But whenever we will talk about man-made or artificial ecosystem, for example we having like cropland or agro ecosystem or aquarium, right? Yes, etc. Okay, so in our next class we will start with natural ecosystem. Thank you.